Okay, the purpose for libero tracking is to keep track of the subs as well as the libero swaps that happen for both teams. This is important to make sure that the libero only serves for one serving position. Doesn't matter who is subbed in for those positions, but they can only serve for one of these positions during a set. It is also very helpful if the libero tracker can keep track of the correct server. If you do determine that the wrong player has gone back to serve, allow that player to serve, and then during the play, get a hold of the R2, the down ref, and let them know that it was an incorrect server. To set up your libero sheet, we need the lineups. So coach will give you a lineup that looks similar to this with Roman numerals, which are the serve order, the jersey number, and a libero. So for serve position, we're going to write down these numbers. First server is going to be 13, followed by 2, 5, 1, 4, and 11. The libero is number 10, and the team is Palmer. And they're going to be on our left side. The team that is on our right side is Soldatna. The libero is number 14. And the serve order is 5, 10, 13, 3, 12, and 2. I prefer to switch colors at this time, so it makes it easier for me to determine the substitutions. When there is a substitution, I will cross out the number and write in the new player number. If it is a libero swap, I don't cross out the number. I just simply write L. Okay, just want to quickly go over a few things before we get going, because libero swapping can be a little confusing. As you're sitting behind the net, usually the officiating table is located here, and in front of the 10-foot line on both sides, between the net and the 10-foot line, is the sub zone. In this zone, the referee will stop the play and allow a player to swap. Libero swaps happen between the 10-foot line and the end line. And this is when a player, typically over here, will run off and the libero will run on. When a libero swap happens between the 10-foot line and the end line, the play does not stop, so you have to watch for it. Okay, so as the play goes and these girls on the court rotate around, eventually we'll get to where she cannot rotate front row. She's not allowed to go here. So this is when she runs off and her replacement runs back on behind the 10-foot line. That's a pretty straightforward swap. Okay, and then usually this girl comes back, she serves, and when she's done serving, she comes in and the libero goes back on. That's the easy swap. There's a second swap, which I will call a double swap, and that one's a little bit more confusing. But we know that the libero can't go front row. So what you see happen on the court is you see the libero goes back to serve, and two players swap. It's not a substitution because it happened behind the 10-foot line in the libero swap zone. What's actually happening is two swaps. So let's do that in a slower motion here. So libero can't go front row. So first swap is she swaps with the girl off the court. She goes front row. Coach does not want this player serving, so they swap again, and libero goes back to serve. Two swaps in one play. This is legal only because the libero is going back to serve. Otherwise, a libero cannot do 2 swaps for 2 different players in one situation like that. Okay, the first swaps have happened after lineup. Palmer's libero went in for number 4, and Soldatna's libero went in for number 12. First server is number 13. I like to put a dot just to keep track of where I am on the sheet with the servers. Side out. Okay, substitution for Soldatna. Cross out 4, put in 3. Substitution for Palmer. Cross out 1 and put in 12. Number 5 is serving for Soldatna. Side out. So we have libero swaps. 4 came back in for libero for Palmer, and the libero went in for 2 and is serving. Because libero is serving, we're going to put a triangle around Roman numeral 2, indicating that that is the only serve place that she can serve for. Okay, side out. Soldatna's number 12 came in for the libero, and number 10 is serving. Point Soldatna. There's a question on the play. So while they're figuring this out, just to reiterate, the libero has designated to be a server for the second position over here for Palmer, and she cannot serve for any other position. So there's a replay on the game on the play. So number 10 is still serving, but there was no point. Point Soldatna. Side out. So libero came in for 10 on Soldatna, and number 5 is serving for Palmer. Point Palmer. Point Palmer. Something to note, all libero swaps will happen behind the 10-foot line. If it happens between the net and the 10-foot line, those are considered substitutions. Side out Soldatna. Number 13 is serving. So be sure to watch the sidelines between the end line and the 10-foot line. Those are where you'll see your libero running on and off the court. Point Soldatna. Side out. Couple substitutions. 3 for 12 for Palmer, and on Soldatna's side, 1 is coming in for 13. Number 3 is serving. If you miss a libero swap, look at the numbers on the court of the jerseys and try to determine who they swapped out for. Side out, Soldatna. Substitution for Palmer, 1 in for 3. And number 4 is serving. Side out, Palmer. So Palmer's libero. Number 2 came in for Palmer's libero, and for Soldatna, 3 came in for 4. Substitution. So on Palmer's side, there is no libero on the court. And on Soldatna's side, there is a libero on the court. Point Palmer. 4 should be serving. Substitution for Soldatna. 15 came in for 12. Side out, Soldatna. Palmer, the libero, came in for 4. And for Soldatna, 10 came in for the libero, and they substituted 12 for 15. So 12 is serving now. So libero came in for 12. Number 11 on Palmer is serving. Side out. Substitutions for Palmer. 31 came in for 5. And for Soldatna, 13 came in for 1. And number 2 is serving. Side out. So we switch colors so we can keep track of what we're doing. 2 substitutions for Palmer. 5 came in for 31. And 12 came in for 1. Number 13 is serving. And my sheet says there's a libero on each side of the court. And that's what I'm seeing on the court. Point Palmer. Something to note, substitutions in front of the 10-foot line, between the net and the 10-foot line. Those substitutions the game is stopped for, but the game is not stopped for libero swaps. And that's why those need to happen behind the 10-foot line. So do not expect the referee to blow their whistle to tell you that there was a libero swap. Timeout for Soldatna. So we can count up our number of subs. It's easy to do that by counting the slashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 subs for Palmer so far. I would check with the paper scorer, make sure they've got 6 subs as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subs for Soldatna. Same thing. Check to make sure that the paper scorer has 6 subs for Soldatna as well. Now the other thing you want to check is both teams had a libero on the court at the time of the timeout. It is illegal for them to come back to the court without their liberos on the court. They must have the same team that exited before the timeout that enters after the timeout. If that is not the case, notify the down ref. So because of my little dots, I know that number 13 should still be serving. So again, from my dots, I know that number 13 should be serving. And we're having side out. Substitution for Soldatna, 4 in for 3. And number 5 should be serving. Point Soldatna. Substitution for Palmer. 31 came in for 5. Side out, Palmer. Substitution 5 for 31. Now 2 swaps are happening. 4 came in for Libero, and Libero came in for 2 and will be serving. We know that she can serve in this position because we put a triangle around the Roman numeral 2, which indicated that this was her designated serve order for this set. You will notice that the Libero for Soldatna is not serving, so she is still able to come in and serve for any position. Side out, Soldatna. $12 came in for the Libero, and the Libero is off the court. Number 10 is serving. Point Soldatna. Side out. The Libero came in for 10 when she was done serving. And on Palmer's side, number 5 should be serving. Side out, Soldatna. Number 13 should be serving. Side out, Palmer. Substitutions. For Palmer, we have 3 coming in for 12. And for Soldatna, we have 1 coming in for 13. And number 3 should be serving. Side out, Soldatna. Substitution for Palmer, 1 in for 3. And for Soldatna, number 4 should be serving. Point Soldatna. Substitution for Soldatna, 15 coming in for 12. Number 4 is still serving. Side out Palmer, and that is the end of the game. So at the end of the game, we want to count up our subs. So for Palmer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And for Soldatna, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we would want to check with the paper scorer to verify that they do have 10 subs for Palmer and 9 subs for Soldatna, which is exactly what we have. It is important to keep track of the subs because if the Libero decides to go in for a different number, you need to be able to keep track of which position she is playing to make sure that she doesn't serve for a different position if she has already designated her serving order. For instance, Soldatna, the libero, could have come in for any one of these and served for any one of them because she hasn't designated a spot yet. Hope this video has helped you. Best of luck scorekeeping.